Artist Lewis Lavoie from St. Albert, Alberta is my guest on 100 Huntley Street today. We were talking about the murals. Now, you also do these paintings in a night, live paintings. It's amazing for charity. It's phenomenal. You have a very unique gift in that. The murals we've talked about. One of my favorites, and I must admit I'm a fan of yours and we are close friends, but the one that I like is the King of Kings, because that puts together your faith in Jesus and also your ability to paint. Tell me how that all came about and a little history there.
Yeah, you know, Greg, that mural took me close to 6 to 9 years to complete. Like I thought when I started doing those little tiles that make up one big picture, I thought like it's that line in the Bible that says many members, one body. And I thought, well, what happens if I actually paint many members, like many people, and then when you pull back, you can see an image of the Lord. And so I thought of it over the next couple of years. How would I put that together? And then it came, you know, the King of Kings. So that would be the name of the project. And I will represent the people by painting kings and their kingdoms. And then when you pull back, you'll see, you know, Jesus as the king. And so when I thought, this is brilliant. I'll just go online, Google kings, and just quickly paint this thing. I should be able to pull it off in a matter of a couple of weeks. But I really was impressed by the Holy Spirit that I should look into every one of these kings' lives. Like, don't just put a king randomly in there and put a guy with a crown and call him a king. So as I researched each person, this project started to take on years to complete. And it was a very difficult mural to do because I started struggling with my own understanding of these rulers, these leaders, trying to figure out like why would this man govern a group of people for 20 years and be a tyrant? Yeah,
because you didn't use, you know, Winston Churchill or former prime ministers in Canada. You know, great leaders, people that would be respected. Of course, every leader has their foibles, but you also had some notorious guys in there too.
Yeah, so I started putting well, one of the biggest struggles I had was King David. I put him in there. I figured, you know, I'll have him holding up Goliath's head, and you'll see, you know, it'll be a bloody scene. And so I sketched it out, and I thought, well, is this a really good representation of David? And then the more I looked into it, I'm thinking, a 14-year-old boy holding up a bloody person's head. And it started to become a very grisly king. The more I started looking into him, like the different things about what he did as a warrior king serving Saul, and after a while you started thinking, well, all these kings, all of them have blood on their hands. And then I figured, well, I could probably put guys like Stalin in, and Mao Zedong, and all these different kings that we know have lots of blood on their hands. Yeah. And I might as well put Hitler in there. So I started thinking, I might as well put all these kings in there. And that's when my project got way out of hand. I didn't know where to go with it. I didn't know who the market would be who would want to even look at a picture like this after
But it's in churches, and we're going to give your website, put your website up here, and we're just about out of time. But one of the things that you mentioned about this is when you look back, you see Jesus. But when you move in close, you see these individual kings. And I like the point that you had made is that you got to be really intentional, right, to make sure that we keep Jesus in focus.
That's the magic of these murals, is that when you move in close, the bigger picture starts to disappear, and you have to really start to focus on where the eyes are and the nose, because suddenly you start to see Alexander the Great pop out, and he's dominating the eye of Jesus. And so and that's kind of what our walk is like. We have to always be focusing on the Lord as all these rulers are rising up.
Well, I would encourage you to go to Lewis's website, and you can order a copy, right, of that, because the actual individual ones have gone out to people, right, and they purchased those?
That's the way I thought I would sell it, is sell the individual king. So you can buy a king, and then you'd get a print of the final picture.
Yeah.
So I started doing that to kind of fund the project. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and I would encourage you to look at it. It's amazing. Thank you, Lewis, for all that you're doing and part of bringing our great country together. Thank you very much. And we will have more of 100 Huntley Street right after this.